This is 10 News Melbourne with Jennifer Kite.
Good evening. First to a horror crash just metres from a playground in Wantirna South. A woman has been killed while a man and a young boy are fighting for life after being struck by a car which mounted the curb. Ashley Kanowski joins us live from the scene. Ash, how did the tragedy unfold?
Well, Jen, behind me is where the car came to a stop after ploughing through a fence. But police have told us that it all began about 200 metres up the road. It's understood the driver lost control, hit a street sign and travelled some 40 or 50 metres along a footpath before hitting 3 pedestrians, including a child, from behind. A woman estimated to be between 30 and 40 years old died. A man and a child believed to be around 3 or 4 years old are fighting for life. Police say the 91-year-old driver wasn't seriously hurt, but she was taken to hospital as a precaution, and police are hoping to speak to her soon. Tonight, at least one family is facing unimaginable grief.
We're not sure of the relationship between the people who are injured. There's every likelihood that it could be a young family. It's an absolute tragedy, and unfortunately we're facing a horrific month for road trauma. We've had 14 people lose their lives in 7 days.
Now, Jen, investigators remain on scene here tonight. What led up to the crash?
OK, thank you very much, Ash. A trainee surgeon at the Austin Hospital is facing allegations he planted a camera inside a staff bathroom. Rory Campbell joins us live. Rory, the doctor has been charged with criminal offences.
2 of them, Jen. He's been charged with stalking and using an optical surveillance device after a mobile phone was allegedly found in a staff toilet here at the Austin Hospital, discovered by the doctor's colleagues. Police say it was found a week ago, but it had been there for some time before that. This morning, officers raided a Heidelberg West home where they arrested the 27-year-old man who spent a large part of today in police interviews. His registration will come under review by the health practitioners regulator. The Austin Hospital released a statement today saying, "We take the safety and well-being of our staff extremely seriously," and recently made a formal statement to Victoria Police. Doctors and nurses unions spent today getting up to speed with these developments as they unfolded over the course of the afternoon. The state government has also been made aware of these allegations. Tonight, Jen, the 27-year-old, is free. He's been bailed and will face court on August 29.
OK, thank you, Rory. A Leongatha doctor who blew the whistle on Erin Patterson's murderous mushroom plot is in danger of losing his medical licence after speaking out about the convicted killer. Dr Chris Webster says he's being investigated by the medical board after voicing his disgust about the infamous beef Wellington cook.
He was a key medical witness whose testimony contributed to Erin Patterson's conviction.
She's evil. She had a problem, she had a dilemma, and the solution that she chose is sociopathic.
Patterson was Dr Webster's patient for the 5 minutes she spent in Leongatha Hospital on the morning after the lethal lunch. He then saw her on TV.
I just can't fathom what has happened.
I was laughing at the absurdity of how fake her emotion appeared.
Just days before her interview, Patterson was caught on CCTV disposing of the food dehydrator she used to prepare the meal. But Dr Chris Webster is now paying the price for his frank assessment of the triple murderer. His candid post-trial commentary sparked a series of complaints, which have left him fighting to keep his medical licence, and following legal advice, he's been gagged from speaking publicly again. 10 News has obtained emails taking issue at his descriptions of Patterson as a crazy bitch and disturbed nutbag. It undermines the dignity of Ms Patterson, they said. It was unprofessional, unhinged and misogynistic. One email demands a thorough investigation. Another says he should be on trial for breach of trust. The backlash spilled over onto social media, where Dr Webster hit back. Your concern for the privacy of a convicted mass murderer is matched by my concern for the society in which I live, he replied. My actions helped put a triple murderer behind bars, and you want to go after my professional standards? I wish you luck. The medical board is remaining tight-lipped about any potential investigation into Dr. Webster's comments, stating only it's aware of his media interviews and reports that complaints were made. Currently, Dr. Webster doesn't have any restrictions on his medical registration, but he says for the time being, he'll be laying low. Before returning to his Leongatha clinic next week. Abby Dinham, 10 News.
The AFL has handed down its punishment to a Carlton fan who made violent threats against Carlton coach Michael Voss. Jack Perry joins us live. Jack, what are the details of the ban?
Jen, the fan has been banned from the MCG and all AFL games for the next 5 years. Now, the violent threat was sent via text message, and we've actually got that text message here. It says, "I'd like to report 23 missing persons and preemptively report the murder of Michael Voss." Now, the AFL has released a statement saying it understands there is passion in the game. However, the text message in question crossed the line. Regardless of intent, no coach, player, official, staff member or fan deserves to be threatened. Now, Collingwood has said it also supports the sanction and will not tolerate any threats to officials, supporters or individuals involved in our great game. Now, Carlton's head coach Michael Voss will be hoping to put this behind him as they take on the Brisbane Lions at Marvel Stadium tonight. Jen?
OK, thank you, Jack. Universities could have their funding slashed and problem tourists deported under a bold plan by the Prime Minister to stamp out hate against Australia's Jewish community. In the past year, the number of anti-Semitic attacks have tripled across the country, from synagogues being torched to vile language being spray-painted on homes and businesses.
The PM armed with a plan to stop the rising tide of hate in our country.
Anti-Semitism has risen to deeply troubling levels in Australia.
In the space of just 1 year, reported incidents increased over 300%.
Most recently, last Friday, when this East Melbourne synagogue was firebombed with worshippers inside. A nearby Israeli restaurant was also targeted. Sydney too has also seen a spate of attacks, including on Jewish leaders.
This is something that needs to be dealt with at a criminal justice level, and I think we need to look state by state and the federal level also.
This is something that is a major national security concern.
These are not isolated events, and they form part of a broader pattern of intimidation and violence.
Driven by online hate and misinformation here at home, further exacerbated by the war in the Middle East.
Anti-Semitism didn't begin on October 7.
The plan pushes for a raft of changes, including consolidating a national definition of anti-Semitism, ensuring the Migration Act effectively facilitates visa refusals or cancellations for anti-Semitic conduct, and enable government funding to be withheld within universities that facilitate, enable or fail to act against anti-Semitism.
And we will look at whether it is now necessary to strengthen hate crime legislation.
There's a number of things can be implemented quickly. There are a number of things that will require work over a period of time.
The Prime Minister insists the plan will not stop his government's criticism of Israel or Palestine. Anthony Albanese reiterating his support for a two-state solution.
I will continue to support the right of Israel to exist within secure boundaries, and I will continue to support the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people for their own state.
The government now considering the recommendations.
We will be doing a report at the end of the first year of the plan, the second year of my position, and then at the third year.
Matthew Carstunen, 10 News.
And Victoria's opposition says if elected, it will introduce tough measures to crack down on extremist behaviour by targeting serial protesters. State political reporter Jessica Maggio joins me now. Jess, what has the Liberal Party proposed?
Well, Jen, for months now, there's been ongoing debate whether Victoria should introduce protest permits. We are the only jurisdiction in Australia that doesn't have that legislation. Now, the opposition says that if elected, they will introduce a registration system similar to what New South Wales has. What that means is that protests would need to register those protests with police rather than with councils. Those that comply will face no consequences. Those who don't will face tougher police powers, including on-the-spot spot move-on orders and potential fines or even jail time of up to 2 years for repeat offenders. The opposition leader, Brad Batten, says this is a direct policy response to frustration from Victorians, especially after the weekend where we saw those 2 anti-Semitic protest incidents after that Friday firebombing. The Allen government has previously said that it won't introduce protest permits, but on Tuesday we heard the Deputy Premier say that after this establishment of the new anti-hate task force, all cards are on the table.
OK, thank you very much, Jess. A family of 5 is lucky to be alive after a fire ripped through their home in Bacchus Marsh overnight. The blaze started just before 7 p.m. and more than 16 CFA units rushed to the scene. The family members inside at the time all managed to escape, but 2 were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 8 pets, including cats and dogs, perished in the fire. The cause of it is still unknown. A teenage surfer who set out on his longboard only to go missing has been rescued from an island 12 kilometres off the coast of New South Wales. Search crews held grave fears for the 19-year-old and didn't give up looking for him throughout the night.
A parent's worst nightmare and a desperate search at sea. Darcy Deefholt's belongings and bike were found at a surf spot known as One Tree late yesterday. The 19-year-old nowhere to be found. Help, I need boats. Dad Terry took to social media and rallied help from the Woolai and Grafton communities who mobilised with their own vessels, jet skis and on foot.
A post saying that Darcy had been missing, and from there straight away we just got out, checked the tides.
Family and friends gathered at the boat ramp, clinging to hope for our beloved boy to be found safe.
It was great to see the community involvement.
But after hours scanning the ink-dark ocean with choppers circling above, the official grid search was scaled down around 1 a.m.
It was a little baffling as to, where this lad might have disappeared to.
Conditions were calm with no significant wind or swell, which kept the search area closer to shore just off Woolai Beach. But a few hours after daybreak, the call came in. 12 kilometres out to sea, he was found marooned but alive.
Paddled out there.
The whole town's relieved. It was... came through.
A beacon on the island may have been one of few lights that took him there. It's one heck of a paddle, even on a board. Locals tell stories. Swim intentionally. It's still unclear.
He's a very lucky boy.
I've told them to come down and have a beer and we'll celebrate when they're ready. I've got a jug of beer for the parents. I know they need
Hospital, but is in good physical health. Tonight, he's with casting away fears of what could have gone wrong, just marooning. Chris Campy.
Good to see. Well, now around 8
off Lions. Queen believe
the Metro as firefighters raise the alarm about outdated emergency equipment. A belt is formed to help Melbourne's old thousands of books are